Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Let us look at some transitions from maqam Saba, right? Meaning we're reading in Saba and we can transition to other maqamat from there. And the same sort of fundamentals apply, right? We've talked about transitions before and like general principles of how transitions work. And the same things apply, right? Once you understand the structure of Saba, and like once you understand the structure or the map of these multiple maqamat, then you'll understand how they connect, and like then it's just a matter of the work of kind of being strong in one maqam and strong in the other, and then you can see that connection a bit better. So you're not relying entirely on feel. There is an element of relying on feel, but the feel is guided by the knowledge of the structure, right? Again, I use this analogy sometimes of a map, like you have a neighborhood map, right? And if you have a map of this neighborhood or this city, right? I'm in Mississauga and nearby is Toronto, right? So if you have a map in your head of Mississauga, okay, and the neighboring city, you have the map of Toronto, right? Now you can kind of see them as like this is the map of Toronto, this is the map of Mississauga, but you can also now start to understand, okay, this highway goes across. This road, this main road goes like across this way, right? This other one, this highway down here goes across there. So now if you need to get from Mississauga to Toronto, you kind of know your options that you can go from this highway up here, you can go from this highway down there. And it joins the two, and then of course you still have to deal with the traffic if you're in the Greater Toronto area. But at least, so there is that hard work of still trying to like navigate that. But once you understand the structure or you see the map, it becomes just like straight up easier, right? Than trying to listen to these maqamat and try to like go based on the feel of it alone. Okay, so let's look at first Saba to bayati. Now, keep in mind with some maqamat, like it's like a one directional thing. It goes well from this way to that, from Saba to bayati. In other cases, you can go back and forth, and both are easy or both sound good. Sometimes there's lots of things that are theoretically possible, but in practice, certain things are more tend to be done more, right? Let's look at Surah Al-Kahf, Al-Mal wal-Banuna, Zinatul Hayati Dunya. Okay? And again, this is just examples. Normally, if we're reciting, we won't be transitioning or changing so much all over the place. But let's look at it just for learning purposes. Okay? So let's start. I'm going to read it first. And then we can kind of look at some of the numbers and so on. Let's start. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Let's start with in Bayati. Okay? Let's just go over the patterns. Okay, actually, let's go over the patterns and do the reading same time. So we have bayati. Now again, structure. Saba, what happens now? We have this is lowered, right, by half. So we instead of three quarter one, we have three quarter half. So you can see right away that we're dealing with the same thing, but we have a point of difference. Okay, so once you come back to the common point, you can pretty much go either which way. So I can go bayati صابع, right? So now this works as a common point, right? But this also kind of goes either which way because this is the one that's different, right? So I can say I'll kind of like do that for Saba and that for Bayati, okay? But this part's the same, okay? How does this look in reading? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا. So now we went from bayati to Saba. We can go the other way around, right? المال المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا. Right? Sabat to bayati. Similarly, we can go now, for example, again, look at the structure. If you look back to the lesson where we did Sabah, right? we said that it has two kind of component parts to it. Two pieces in there, two different maqamat that like kind of shine in, come together to make up Saba, right? So now we can look at that part and emphasize that part. You essentially are transitioning to that part. What is the second part? Right? Ah, 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 ah. Okay? Emphasize that part. It's hijaz. So we have uh, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا. Now if we go higher. ويوم نسير الجبال ويوم نسير الجبال وترى الأرض بارزة وحشرناهم فلم نغادر منهم أحدا وعرضوا على ربك صفا لقد جئتمونا كما خلقناكم أول مرة بل زعمتم أن لن نجعل لكم موعدا. Now I'm back into Saba. So the fact is, did I actually transition to Hijaz there? I mean, it depends how you look at it, right? In some sense, I was still in Saba, but because I emphasized the Hijaz portion of Saba, then you hear it as though I transitioned to Hijaz and came back to Saba. Personally, I wouldn't use it that way. I just did it for like demonstration. Like, I think the way that would be done more, right? Again, theoretical common usage versus what is theoretically possible. Like, do it as an accent or a highlight. You kind of like bring out a little bit of that hijaz sound, or you stay in that middle portion or upper portion of Saba, but then come back down. Like, I wouldn't necessarily go turn it into hijaz, because why? That kind of, it doesn't sound that good to me. It doesn't sound that good. There's a reason, because now you're like resolving higher, right? It feels like you kind of just like you're somewhere in the middle. And to me, it feels more grounded to come back down to your original place. Okay, so that's Saba sort of to Hijaz. Similarly, we can have Saba to nahawand. This one sounds really good. This one sounds really good, and I don't know if it sounds good because it actually sounds good, or because it's like a little bit rare in some sense, so it catches you by surprise. And also because like Saba is a very emotional maqam. Nahawand is also emotional, but in a kind of a different way, right? So I think like bringing the two together, I'll do it. So for example, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم let's go back to the beginning. المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا. Okay, so to me it's very beautiful, and it's like emotional already with Saba, and then it kind of like still emotional, but it changes it. I don't know how to describe it other than that. But this one, again, once you understand the structure, and maybe I should leave you to figure it out, but maybe if you want, just pause the video and try to figure it out based on what we've done before, right? Again, it's all structure, 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 and that's why I teach the way I do, right? Because once you understand the structure, it makes it easy. Again, it's here. Right? Go back to your notes. If you have to write it out, write out bayati, write out Saba, write out nahawand. Okay? And you'll see how it lines up. So we have here, instead of 3/4, 3/4, 1 for bayati, we have 3/4, 3/4, half for Saba. And then we have what? 1/2, 1 for nahawand. So remember, we said these three in common. These are also in common in the sense that not all of them actually, but so if we have 3/4, 3/4 here for bayati, but now for nahawand we have 1.5, right? Then you see that this is common. This and this are common for bayati and nahawand. I have to look through my figures, right? This is the 1 and the 3 now are common for bayati, and also the 4 is common, right? So or nahawand, nahawand, bayati, right? So now the same way we went from Saba, we can to bayati, we can also go from Saba to nahawand. So if I have okay, it's a little trickier, right? Right? You could now, or you can go. This what I did here was I came down to the one, the common one. Now the one is here common between Saba, common between Saba, Bayati, and Nahawand. Okay, and then I just went back to the four of Nahawand. So I came down in Saba, went back to a common, like the four of Nahawand, and came down in Nahawand. Right? So that works as well. I'll do it again. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا ويوم نسير الجبال. This is actually a very powerful section. Read it from I don't know the page, the one after the page after the man of two gardens, right? Al-malu al-banuna in this little section here. So that's that. Now the last one, and this is a common one, is Saba to ajam and back and forth, right? This one is also it's nice because why you have the very like see out of all the maqamat, these two Saba and ajam are like those two that are very clear in terms of their mood. Sometimes people say, "Oh, bayati is like this, or bayati is like that, and how one is like this or that," and you'll get conflicting sort of ideas or feels of what those maqamat are. Right? There's like a cookie cutter textbook kind of nahawand is like this. But depends on how you read nahawand. It could come out like very serious. It could come out very soft and like flowery. It can be maybe sound a little emotional or not sad necessarily, but like deep emotions. But it could also sound like very straightforward, right? Like Sheikh al-Husari's nahawand, right? Uh, but these two, Saba and Ajam, like almost universally, people will say Saba sounds sad and I was gonna say depressing. That's not the right word. Sound like sad and very uh like sorrowful, right? It's emotional. And then Ajam, on the other hand, is very upbeat, right? So you can do these like contrasting uh flavors, if you want to put it that way, right? So here we have uh this one is a little bit more interesting. We have let's do Saba, right? Ah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we have 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This one is a little bit different because now this 6 is the 8 of Ajam. So if I say 6, 5, instead I can go count this as your 8 of Ajam, right? So if we do Saba, right? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But if we make that our 8 of Ajam, we have Okay, so now it's not disjointed, but it's offset. It's offset, right? So that the 6 of Saba is like the 8 of Ajam, and we'll end up going a little bit lower as we come down into Ajam. Uh, my brain is an Ajam now. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا. ويوم نسير الجبال وترى الأرض بارزة وحشرناهم فلم نغادر منهم أحدا. Back and forth, right? From the same point. وعرضوا على ربك صفا لقد جئتمونا كما خلقناكم أول مرة بل زعمتم أن لن نجعل لكم موعدا. ووضع الكتاب فترى المجرمين مشفقين مما فيه ويقولون يا ويلتنا ما لهذا الكتاب لا يغادر صغيرة ولا كبيرة إلا أحصاها ووجدوا ما عملوا حاضرا ولا يظلم ربك أحدا. It's a powerful section. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, grant us our records in our right hands and clean it up for us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitate for us to clean up our own record, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to overlook our bad deeds, the big of them and the small of them, so that we're not kind of like amongst those who are confronted with our the book, and it's like an embarrassment for us. You know what I mean? Not embarrassment, like oh, may Allah protect us. May Allah protect us, right? And give us a book that is clean and a good record. Good record. Barakallahu fikum. That's all. The transitions are, again, learn the structure, focus on like getting the structure of one, getting the structure for the other, and then finding those common points. Once you understand those points, it's the highway. You take the highway or the freeway, whatever you call it, expressway, and it takes you from one area of the city to the other or from one city to the other. You understand the connection points, it'll make sense, and it gives you a lot of versatility in your recitation, a lot of creativity, because you can now like kind of mix and match, go from one to the other, break up sometimes the monotony of just doing one maqam. But also it helps you like navigate the depth of what is going on as you're reciting, right? And to feel what you're reciting, because the topic changes, the situation changes, the ayat change from ayat of forgiveness and rahmah and reward for the believers, and then to the punishment and the state of the disbelievers and so on. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us in our recitation and use it creatively. Start out with practicing it just with like one or two ayat, and then try to pick a section, look at the meaning, and try to recite in a way that is emotionally expressive, right? Not just kind of like layering a maqam onto the Quran, but rather using the maqam to like express your own state with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and me, and practice, practice, practice. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.